So many people, even without grief, are exhausted at this time of the year, right? Because our animal natures in the Northern Hemisphere at this time of year are following that shut down, turn inward, rest more, all of these things, but we're trying to live lives that go against that, right? So as sort of a baseline for a lot of people this time of year, we're tired. And then you add in everything else on top of that. I think we can get tired of grief, even though we know that it's like, it's here, it's healthy and all of these things. And, all of this stuff, it's like still coming up on 6 years and still, I'm still this exhausted. Coming up on 6 years and it doesn't feel any different than it did at 5. Like, the fuck? Right? That fatigue, I think we can come to the same way that we come to anything else with this is like, yeah, I notice that I'm feeling irritated with the lack of difference that I feel, right? We can come to that with curiosity. What might different look like for me? What would different feel like for me? Right? When you can identify what you think should be happening or how you wish something was happening or you wish that you were feeling, sometimes you can unearth a longing that you didn't know you had. Right? I want something to be different. What would different look like? What would different feel like for me? I was talking with somebody earlier today who's super fresh in their grief. They're like all I want is to go to Iceland because I feel like it's the most otherworldly place I can think about right now. And that matches me, right? Can't travel to Iceland right now because Iceland is under volcano watch. So what else would otherworldly mean to me or look like for me, right? There's a longing for, I want my external situation to match how out of place I feel, right? So that's my example here, right? Like, what would different feel like? What would easier feel like? How would I know that this life felt easier or more gentle to me? What would I see? What would I feel? What would I be doing every day? And even understanding that I don't know what I want is a response, right? And you get to be curious about that. Because if I don't know, but I know it's not this, then there's space for me to start wildly experimenting, right? If I know that this is not what I want, but I don't know what I want yet, how do I explore that gap, right? But all of that starts when you can reflect on, what am I feeling? I'm feeling annoyed. I'm feeling irritated. I'm feeling really tired of this landscape, whatever those words are for you, right? You want to sound like your heart and not like my brain. But what does this feel like for me? And what does that tell me? Yeah. This is about the time where the fatigue and the irritation comes in. I'm not in a collapsed heap crying so hard that I vomit every day, but I'm also not that psyched to be here. So what am I supposed to do with this? I don't hear anything strange in what you're saying. And I think sometimes just knowing that it's really normal and that this is an expected part of all of this. I think sometimes that can give you a little bit of breathing room. It's like the doldrums. I'm so not a sailor, but apparently the doldrums is a sailing term. It's like when you're, no pun intended, in the dead zone in the ocean, right? Where there's like, all you can do is sit there. You are in the doldrums. So what are we going to do there? Right? And what do you wish was different? Yeah. I think some people are like, find what lights you up, or like, find your next calling. And you're like, dude, I don't know what I want for dinner. Like, so don't worry about finding the thing that's going to make life excellent for you. Like, you gotta shrink things back. Right. And sometimes it's just like, what one thing can I do different today?